There are many stories about how minorities fear police. It's hard to go a day without an allegation of racial profiling or unfair treatment. But there are a lot of people that say that systematic racism is a myth. Stories that conclude there is a problem are often met with comments like, "That's not true, it's a false narrative," or "The media is just trying to divide us." One I see frequently is, "Well, yes, but obviously it's because minorities commit more crime." So which is it? Are minorities being racially profiled? Are they being treated unfairly? Or are they just being paranoid? Are minorities being unfair to police? I'm going to pour a strong one because, man, do I need to think. With hundreds of data sets available, you have to look at multiple points to see the real picture. To make matters even more confusing, a lot of data is simply not tracked or not tracked consistently by police departments. Can we accurately answer the question without becoming overwhelmed? Yes, but it's not easy. But we can do it. If there is widespread racial profiling and unfair treatment of minorities by police, there's one common ground area where we should see it: traffic stops. There is a big challenge here. There is no standardized reporting of traffic stops. Not all police departments report all of the same information or in the same way. For the purpose of this breakdown, we are primarily using data collected by the Department of Justice's Bureau of Justice Statistics. I used some other sources to fill in some gaps in the Bureau's reporting. Moving on, let's look at who gets pulled over by the police. Now, just for perspective, looking at all people aged 16 or over, what is the racial breakdown of the population? White comprises 63% of the population, Hispanic 17%, Black 12%, other 8%. Before we get into stop rates, there is a key term used by the Bureau of Justice that we need to understand. It is called police-initiated contact. So what does that mean? These are contacts where no one asked for the police to get involved. In 2018, more than 84% of those were traffic stops. Of the remaining contacts, 48% were street stops. Street stops? People in public places or a parked car. Why is this important? Because we do not get some key data on race specifically for traffic stops. Instead, it's lumped into police-initiated contact. What you have to remember is that the overwhelming majority of police-initiated contact means traffic stops. So how often is each race pulled over? White drivers were stopped 11.7% of the time. Black drivers were stopped 11% of the time. Hispanic drivers were stopped 9.8% of the time, and other drivers were stopped 9.5% of the time. The Bureau of Justice shows races were stopped at comparable rates. However, I have to mention the Stanford Open Policing Project. The project has collected data on nearly 200 million traffic stops. They estimate that Black drivers are 20% more likely to get pulled over than white drivers. But if that's inconclusive, what about what happens after they get pulled over? Let's look at who gets searched by police. The most recent Bureau of Justice data I could find shows white drivers were pulled over and searched 2.3% of the time. However, Black and Hispanic drivers were searched nearly 3 times as often. Now, at this point, the online debate would typically generate comments that this is because minorities commit more crimes. So if that's why police search minorities nearly 3 times as often, we should see them find contraband at least 3 times as often, right? But we don't. Only about 1 in 10 searches find illegal items. The Bureau of Justice says it does not have enough data to report contraband findings by race. However, multiple reports show that whites are more likely to be found with contraband. So what does this tell me? Minorities are being unfairly searched far more often than white drivers. Here's the picture so far. All races may be stopped at comparable rates, but minority drivers are searched nearly 3 times as often as white drivers, even though police do not find more contraband on minority drivers than on white drivers. I want to talk about another extremely important part of the topic, but I'm going to do that in the next episode. For now, let me know what you think about my conclusions. Am I missing something? Am I misunderstanding something? I really want to know what is going on. In next Monday's episode, I'm going to explore the use of force by police. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell to get notifications. Until then,